And welcome to the optical fiber fabrication requirement. Uh, Today's topic is based on the last lecture. In the last lecture, we have studied about the how optical fiber fabrication is require and how the different types we are using for the optical fiber fabrication. Now, in today's lecture, we will see that how what are the requirements are there for the optical fiber fabrication. So in the next lecture, in this lecture, we'll see some what are the material we are using, fiber preforms, what are the fiber preforms we will use, that we will study, and we will go through the different preform fabrication techniques. So which are the fabrication techniques that we will study? So this and fiber drawing from preform that we will go in the next lecture. So material requirement. What is mean by material requirements? So material requirements, suppose we are using any material and we will take the glass from that, and then there will be a matter of the purity. So purity will be not that much good for the material. So it should have the requirement, it should be possible to draw the flexible thin kilometer long fibers from the material. Next, since core and cladding are the different material, two feasible comparable materials should be available to make them. So what is meaning of that? Suppose there is a core and cladding, and if you are using the same material for the core and cladding, then there will be a problem regarding that difference in the refractive index. So how you will differ the refractive index for the core and cladding? That is the main issue if you are using the same material for the core and cladding. Next is the material should be having as low as possible in the wavelength range of interest. So that is the wavelength should be as low as possible for the good communication. Next is material. Now, what is material we are using for the different optical fiber communication? So, first is the glass. So, as I said earlier, also the glass is the silica we are using for the optical fiber fabrication. Uh, first, first we are using is a fused silica glass or silicate glass. So, fused silica glass or silicate glass we are using for the glass material, the most widely used material for the telecom fiber. So glass is widely available, so that's why we are using that the most glass for the different applications. Next is a low loss high stability to deformation at a high ambient temperature. So low loss is there for the glass, and different. So next is halide glass. So what is meant by halide glass? That is fluoride glasses, extremely low transmission losses at mid higher wavelength. So at a mid infrared wavelength, we are using this halide glass. Extremely low transmission losses at a mid higher wavelength. Major components are like ZrF4, like zirconium fluoride. Zirconium fluoride we are using, tetrafluoride we are using. Next is BAF2, that is barium fluoride, and NF, that is sodium fluoride. So these are the material we are using for the different halide glasses. Next is a potential candidate for the futuristic optical communication system at 2 micrometer. So halide glass we will use this for the 2 micrometer range. Next is next material we are using, that is active glass. So active glass means rare or doped glasses. When you are using doping, that time we have to use this active glass, the doping like erbium, indium, nodium, and tanzonium. That time we use fused silica, used for the making optical fiber amplifiers and the fiber lasers. We were using this active glass. Next is chalcogenide glass. So chalcogenide glass is having the different material like arsenic 40S 58 Se2 As253. High optical non-linearity, high losses 1 dB per meter, mid-IR sources, fiber amplifiers, switches. So these are the different chalcogenide glass material we have to use. Next material we are using, that is very vast, we use, that is polymer, that is plastic. So polymethyl methacrylate or um, perfluorinated polymer we are using, that high losses, that 0.2 dB per meter. So that is comparatively other losses, that is very high losses are there. Low cost, easy handling, lightweight. So for the materials are the low cost, easily handling, and the lightweight we are using. Fiber dimension much larger than the glass fiber. Less expensive components. So components we are using, as I said, in the plastic, as you are using the plastic, it will be having the less cost and the less and the high flexibility. So that is the main use of the plastic. Short distance communication, only for a short distance communication we can use this plastic. Plastic card silica PCS fiber is a very attractive for making optical fiber sensors. Next is silica glass fiber fabrication. It is a two-step process. First step is the fabrication of preform, and second is drawing fiber from the preform. So what is the first process? That is fabrication of the preform. So how to perform the preform? So what is mean by preform? So you can see in the figure, when you see the at the end of the optical fiber, there is a very pointed edge. That pointed point is called as a that preform. So we have that point is convert into the optical fiber. So that is the way we have to find out the optical fiber. uh, Next is drawing fiber from the preform. So we have to draw the fiber from the preform. That is the second stage. Now what is preform? So preform is a refractive index profile geometry of the core and cladding, core constantly by the preform. Hence the preform fabrication is very important stage. Propagation characteristics of the final fiber are determined primarily by the quality of the preform. So now there is a different refractive index we are using. So refractive indexes are different. Now you can see that at the 1.46, that is a silica. So that 1.46 having silica having the refractive index, but you can't use that silica for all the of fabrication of the optical fiber. You require some different refractive indexes. Why? Because as you know the structure of the optical fiber, you core and cladding having the different refractive indexes. So when you will use that refractive use only a silica, then there will be only one uh, only single optical refractive index available, and that will be not possible to make optical fiber, because at the core there will be a high refractive index and cladding having the low refractive index. So core and cladding we have to differ. Now next is that fluoride. If you are using the fluoride, then it will be very high. You can decrease the refractive index. If you will use like GeCl 2 or aluminum oxide or germanium oxide, and then phosphorus oxide, that time you will increase the refractive index. So increase or decrease of the refractive index will be done by the doping of the different materials. So there are the different material we are using for the doping purpose. So next is part is the chemical reaction. So which are the chemical reactions we have to do so that we will get the silica from the uh, uh, that optical fiber from the silica, that SiCl4 plus O2, that we are going to silicon oxide SiO2, that is having the different that different refractive index, like GeCl4 we plus O2, that is GO2. So that is the way different, that is the different optical fiber reaction. Then 4PoCl3 plus 3O2 plus is going to be a 2P2O5. So that is the way you have to find out the different uh, and many more chemical reactions we have to do, so that we will get the different effective index materials for the optical fiber fabrication. So these are some optical fiber fabrication techniques. In this fabrication techniques, we are using the different chemicals. So that is the basic chemicals we have to use. That SiCl4, silicon chloride, germanium chloride, then PoCl3, like phosphorus oxychloride, then SiF4, that silicon tetrafluoride, then BCl3, that boron tetrachloride. So that we have to use for the starting chemicals. From that chemicals we have to use different methods, two different important methods, that is flame hydrolysis and the chemical vapor deposition. These are the two very important techniques we have to use to form the optical fiber or fabricate the optical fiber. So in these two techniques, first is flame hydrolysis. That is the technique we have to use the most, and we will study into the next few lectures. Flame hydrolysis. In the flame hydrolysis, there will be a VAD process, that is vapor axial deposition, and second method is OVPO, that is, or OVD. What is OVPO? That is outside vapor phase oxidation, or outside vapor deposition. So why we are using this word, that outside, that we will learn when you will study about this process. Next is chemical vapor deposition. What is meant by chemical vapor deposition? So MCVD, that is modified chemical vapor deposition, and uh, next is PMCVD, that is plasma modified CVD. So plasma modified CVD that we have to use, or third method, that is PCVD, that is plasma activated CVD. So these are the different methods we have to use for the fabrication techniques. So we will use these techniques to form the optical fiber. So optical fiber fabrication is very important topic. Yeah, I have taken this uh, lecture. I have made this PPT from the senior book. I have already sent you the senior book PDF on your WhatsApp group. You it maybe feel you some lengthy chapters, but you will understand easily the language. So in the next lecture, we will study about this flame hydrolysis. In the flame hydrolysis, we will learn about the vapor axial deposition and the OVPO method, that is outside vapor phase oxidation method. In this method, we will understand that how that we can fabricate the optical fiber from the silica or other materials we are using, that is SiCl4 or GeCl4, and which are the dopants we have to use, and how the techniques having the different stages to reform the optical fiber from the that different techniques. So we'll meet in the next lecture. So thank you.